Cruising looks effortless from the brochure, glowing sunsets at the rail, white uniforms that seem to anticipate every need, music drifting from the atrium, and the promise that everything you want is already on board. The reality is more nuanced, and that's good news. A cruise can be the easiest vacation you'll ever take, or it can become a collection of small regrets that pile up like waves. A bill that's larger than you expected, a cabin that feels lively when you hoped for silence, a long walk that steals energy you wanted for the show, a shore day that turns into an endurance test instead of a memory. Seniors feel those friction points more acutely because little details, meal times, elevators, medical access, walking distance, matter more when you're living inside a moving hotel for a week. This guide is designed to remove that friction completely. We'll call out the mistakes seniors regret the most, explain why they happen, and show you how to avoid them without anxiety or guesswork. You'll learn to read a deck plan like a map to your best nights of sleep, to turn all-inclusive claims into actual clarity, to protect yourself medically and financially without overspending, to pace shore days so they feel vivid instead of exhausting, and to set your own social dial so the ship serves your preferences rather than the other way around. This isn't about scaring you off, it's about putting you in control so the ocean becomes what it should be, a calm, confident backdrop to a week of ease. Let's make the biggest regrets impossible and turn your cruise into one long exhale. Number 1. Believing the headline fare. The first regret is the most predictable. Trusting the price you see in the ad and assuming it represents your full week. The fare is real, but it's only the starting point on a ship where many comforts live outside the base price. Daily service charges accumulate invisibly until the last evening's statement. Internet is usually an additional package, and speed matters. Email-only plans are cheaper but won't support video calls, telehealth portals, or sending high-resolution photos to the family group chat. Drink packages can be excellent value if you'll use them every day for specialty coffee, bottled water, and soft drinks, but they're unnecessary if your routine is tea in the morning and water at dinner. Shore excursions are where totals multiply quietly. A panoramic coach ride seems modest, but book 2 people across 3 ports and you've added a large sum. Specialty restaurants, spa visits, frozen treats on deck, and photo bundles all nudge the final tally upward. The fix is to plan joy instead of discovering it on the bill. Decide at home what you actually want. Basic Wi-Fi, 1 signature dinner, 2 gentle excursions, a small photo package, and price those with the fare so you can compare cruise lines honestly. Some lines bundle tips, drinks, and internet at a higher fare. Others separate everything to make the headline number low. Travel in the shoulder months to lower both price and crowd levels. Set a daily spend or load onboard credit so your last night is calm. Have you ever been surprised by hidden costs on a cruise bill? What caught you off guard? Share it below so others can learn. When costs are visible before you sail, you stop worrying about money and start enjoying the ship. Number 2. Skipping real travel insurance. The second regret is treating insurance like an optional add-on. It isn't. Cruise medical care is pay-as-you-go, and standard coverage at home often doesn't stretch into international waters. The most expensive problems are the ones you never forecast. A slip on a damp stair, chest tightness 2 days from the nearest major port, a call from home that means you must disembark and fly back mid-itinerary. Proper coverage addresses all of that without financial drama. Look for medical treatment and hospitalization, emergency evacuation, and trip cancellation or interruption, and make sure pre-existing conditions are covered by purchasing within the required time window after your initial payment. Read exclusions with care. A policy can sound generous and still carve out the very activities you're planning, like small boat tours, easy snorkels, or aerial trams. Store your policy number, medications, and allergies on a 1-page printout and in your phone. Keep emergency contacts and the insurer's 24/7 hotline in the same place. Buying insurance isn't pessimism. Think of it as the seatbelt you buckle without fear. It allows you to enjoy the show, the dinner, and the sunset without the quiet worry of what if. If nothing happens, you bought peace. If something does, you bought relief. Number 3. Assuming the ship is a hospital. Another regret arises when guests assume the onboard medical center is a hospital at sea. It isn't, and that's okay. Cruise infirmaries are excellent at stabilizing emergencies and handling common problems. Seasickness, dehydration, mild gastrointestinal illness, minor cuts and sprains. Many can administer intravenous fluids, run basic labs, and coordinate care ashore. What they don't offer is full inpatient capability, dialysis, advanced cardiac procedures, or complex imaging with specialist staff. That doesn't mean you should worry. It means you should arrive prepared so a small issue stays small. Pack at least a week of extra medication beyond your itinerary in original bottles and keep them in your carry-on rather than in checked luggage. Bring a one-page medical summary with conditions, allergies, medication names and doses, and any devices you rely on. CPAP, pacemaker, insulin pump, plus the manufacturer card if applicable. A small extension cord for your CPAP can turn a fussy night into an easy one. If a condition is newly diagnosed, ask your clinician for a brief travel note that outlines your baseline and what normal looks like for you. These simple steps transform a moment of stress into a calm check-in with clear information. What's the one medical item you never cruise without? Extra meds, CPAP gear, or a printed health summary? Drop it in the comments so others can copy your best tip. When you meet the ship's medical team halfway with preparation, you turn fear into confidence and keep the vacation intact. Number 4. Ignoring mobility and ship layout. Distance on a ship doesn't look far on the deck plan, but it feels far when you live it 3 times a day. Elevators back up after shows and at dinner rush. Theaters are often several decks from dining rooms. Stateroom corridors can stretch longer than a city block. Underestimating that distance leads to the regret of spending energy on logistics instead of on pleasures. The remedy is to design a smaller ship for yourself. If you need accessibility, book an accessible stateroom early. They have wider doors, no lip showers with benches, and grab bars where you need them most. If you walk independently but appreciate help, a cabin near the elevator bank saves hundreds of steps a day and makes the journey to breakfast and the evening show feel effortless. If you use a scooter or wheelchair, confirm size and storage rules so you can charge and park safely. On shore, read excursion descriptions beyond their titles. Panoramic usually means coach sightseeing with photo stops, while moderate can involve stairs, cobblestones, and standing in sun. Ask about shade, restroom intervals, and total time on your feet. Anchor your day around one elevator bank and one main dining room so your internal map stays simple. When your pathways are short and familiar, the ship feels like your neighborhood rather than a maze. Number 5. Picking the wrong cabin. The stealth regret that echoes every morning and night is choosing the wrong stateroom for your body and habits. A forward balcony looks romantic until a long swell turns your night into a gentle seesaw. A cabin under the pool deck feels convenient until the dawn chorus of chair scrapes becomes your alarm. A fantastic deal at the far end of a corridor becomes a nightly trudge if mobility is a concern. The cure is to study the deck plan as if you were buying a small apartment for a week. For motion sensitivity, pick midship on a lower deck where the ship's centerline movement is minimal. For quiet, select a cabin with staterooms above and below. Avoid being directly under open decks or over theaters and lounges where rehearsals and events run late. For convenience, trade a little hallway foot traffic for an elevator-close room if steps matter. Balconies are wonderful if you'll actually sit outside for morning coffee and evening breeze. Otherwise, a well-placed interior cabin can deliver exceptional sleep and free up budget for excursions or specialty dining. Bring a soft nightlight, use a magnetic clip for the daily schedule on your cabin wall. Most are metal, and keep the floor clear. Where do you like to sleep on a ship? Midship lower for stability or higher up for the view? Comment your preference to help others choose. When your stateroom supports your routines, the whole week glides. Number 6. Treating dining like an afterthought. Dining choices determine how relaxed your days feel. Buffets deliver flexibility, but at peak times they're crowded. Floors can be slick, and lines move at a pace that doesn't pair well with medication schedules. If you have dietary needs, telling the ship at the table instead of in advance forces a scramble and introduces room for error. Avoid the daily friction by front-loading clarity. Note allergies and restrictions when you book, and on day 1, introduce yourself to the maitre d' with a simple printed card in large, clear font describing your needs. Staff will route your orders correctly, and you can enjoy conversation instead of repeating ingredients. Opt for main dining or specialty venues when you want predictable pacing and seated service. Use the buffet at off-peak times. Align dining with your medication plan. Traditional early seating is ideal for many seniors, allowing unhurried meals and comfortable timing for evening pills and shows. Hydrate deliberately. See air and sun dry you out quietly, and a refillable bottle you actually like to carry is the difference between steady energy and mid-afternoon fatigue. Think of treats as planned celebrations rather than impulse choices. A signature dessert or a night at the steakhouse feels better when anticipated rather than grabbed at the last minute. When meals are calm, your days are calm. Number 7. Downplaying safety basics. A regrettable pattern appears when people wait for a scare to respect safety. Most onboard mishaps are small: slips near the pool, wobbles on stairs during a roll, stumbles in a dim cabin at night, and most are preventable with habits that become invisible after 48 hours. Use handrails as if the ship might sway in the next 5 seconds. That mindset keeps your center stable. Wear shoes with traction around wet areas and stairs. Sandals without grip are beautiful in the brochure and treacherous on a damp deck. Keep one hand free when carrying plates or drinks. 2 unhurried trips are better than 1 risky one. Treat the muster drill like a map lesson, not an inconvenience. Walk the route once and note a backup path. Wash your hands before meals and after touching shared surfaces. Sanitizer is helpful, but soap and water are better. In your stateroom, plug in a nightlight and keep cords and bags out of the walkway. Ask crew to assist with trays, steps, and ramps. They're trained to help and prefer prevention to problem solving. What's your number 1 cruise safety tip? Handrails, shoes, hand washing, or something else? Share it so others can borrow your best habit. Safety isn't about fear. It's the quiet background routine that lets the fun run without interruption. Number 8. Booking the wrong season. Season sets the personality of your sailing before you ever see the ship. Summer in the islands is festive. Full pools, high energy, and late sunsets. That may be exactly what you want, or it may be too much heat, too many lines, and too little hush. Spring and fall soften everything. Gentler temperatures, calmer crowds, and often better fares. Specific routes have sweet spots. Mediterranean stone radiates heat in midsummer but feels walkable and golden in April or October. Alaska dazzles under broad daylight in June and July but rewards smart layers and traction on deck. Weather windows matter too. Caribbean hurricane cycles and North Atlantic storm patterns can shuffle itineraries at the last minute. The solution is to match your comfort with the calendar. If you love lively decks and long days, pick prime months and pack patience. If you prefer quiet corners and cool breezes, go shoulder season and savor the hush. Pack for reality rather than hopes. Sun protection for warm routes, layers and a windproof outer layer for cool ones, and shoes your feet are genuinely happy to wear for several hours. The right month transforms the same itinerary into a different experience, one that feels designed for you. Number 9. Treating shore days. Like a marathon, regret often shows up after a dream excursion that was secretly a gauntlet. Heat radiating from stone, long stretches of cobblestones, staircases with no railings, lines in direct sun. The brochure image is honest. It's the pace that doesn't match the body living the day. The fix is to curate, not conquer. Read the full excursion description, not just the title. Panoramic usually means coach sightseeing with photo stops, while active almost always involves meaningful walking or uneven terrain. Check total duration, time on your feet, group size, shade availability, and restroom intervals. Consider alternating heavy days with lighter ones or even staying on board for a private ship afternoon when everyone else disembarks. Pools are quiet, the spa offers discounts, and cafes feel like living rooms. Create a small, reliable day kit. Water, a brimmed hat, necessary meds, a card with the ship's name and pier number, and a light layer for sudden breeze or air-conditioned interiors. Then set a pace that serves memory rather than mileage. What's your ideal shore day? Packed with tours or slow and savoring, or even a full stay on the ship day? Tell us your style. You'll remember a harbor breeze, a musician's melody, and a perfect pastry far longer than you'll remember how many blocks you covered. Number 10. Mismanaging the social side. The final regret appears when people let the ship's social rhythm set their mood instead of choosing their own tempo. Cruise life is generous. Music before dinner, trivia after lunch, enrichment lectures mid-morning, card groups, dance classes, quiet corners of the library, and balconies where dawn feels like a private ceremony. The mistake is believing you must either join everything or nothing. You don't. Decide your daily social dose. If conversation energizes you, choose 1 or 2 recurring activities, so familiar faces become friends by night 3. The daily trivia team, the same pre-dinner lounge, the lecture series that aligns with tomorrow's port. If solitude restores you, protect it with small rituals. A walk on the promenade before breakfast, a window table with a book, a private tea on your balcony. If you're traveling with family, agree each morning on who's doing what and when you'll meet again. That single check-in prevents the quiet friction of constant negotiation. If you're solo and want company, ask the dining team to seat you with others who prefer conversation. Many lines also host meetups to make that easy. When you set your social dial yourself, you end each day satisfied rather than overstimulated or isolated. This is how you turn drama into certainty. See the real cost before you pay the deposit, so the final bill is just confirmation, not revelation. Treat insurance like a seatbelt and buy it early enough to cover pre-existing conditions and unpredictable moments. Respect the onboard medical center for what it is, a capable urgent care clinic at sea, and meet it halfway with extra meds, a one-page summary, and the basics that make any visit simple. Shrink the ship to a friendly size by choosing an accessible or elevator-close cabin and by repeating the same clear paths each day. Pick the stateroom that serves your sleep, balance, and habits rather than the one a brochure loves. Feed yourself with ease. Align mealtimes with medications. Tell the dining team what you need before you need it, and choose calmer venues when you want safety and pace. Make safety invisible by building tiny habits that run in the background. Choose the month that loves you back rather than the one that simply fits someone else's calendar. Curate shore days so you return glowing, not drained, and set your social dial so conversation fills you without spilling over. Follow these choices and a cruise becomes exactly what it should be for seniors. A soft, confident week where money behaves, bodies feel respected, sleep comes easily, days unfurl gently, and the ocean earns its reputation as the world's best lullaby. Avoid the regrets, keep the wonder, then step aboard knowing the smartest part of the trip is already done.